Hey YouTube, Nate here with Lane Family Farmstead, and I know it's been a while. Been a long while. And I've had a lot going on. Maybe I'll post a video about that at some point. But today we've got a couple things to talk about. First thing is, anybody who's seen my channel before, welcome back. Second, if you remember my Tractor Supply Chicken Coop, yeah, it's done. I got it back in, what was it, like 2020 when I bought it early that year. It finally rotted and more or less fell apart, and I decided it was time to build a new chicken coop. So behind me is Chicken Coop 2.0. I'll give you a real quick tour before I explain what we've got going on. Now, something you do need to know is this is a custom built coop, meaning that I built it myself. Now, I didn't follow any plans, which I probably should have, but I'm not that good at, following instructions. So I more or less just winged it. I just started buying lumber and assembling it together piece by piece. Took me about 3 months, but overall I think it came out all right for a first attempt. It's 4x8 on the inside, so the chickens have 32 square feet of floor space to play with. I've got a separate nesting box attached with 6 12x12x12 nesting boxes for the girls. And there's I want to say I got 25 chickens. I don't think I've lost any in my new flock. So let me show you the inside. So forgive if my voice sounds a little funky. I'm standing to the side of my camera because I'm not a very good cameraman. Now, I've got my waterer and my feeder. I've got them both suspended from hooks on the ceiling, just because I felt that would be a little bit easier to manage them from the front and keep everything off the bottom. It's a little dark, but if you look in the back, I've got my 6 nesting boxes. They're kind of janky, but not terrible. So this is the nesting box attachment from the other side. The door does flip up, and I've got a hook attached to the coop so that I can secure it while I'm pulling eggs out. It was initially going to be built right in, but because again I didn't follow plans and I'm really bad about that, I just built it separate and mounted it. So yeah, that's the coop. I'd say it took me probably about 3 months of working on weekends to build it and buying lumber here and there, so not too bad. But today I've got 2 tasks in front of me. Task 1 is I've got to repair the door hinge. I just noticed last night that the door is pulling off the hinges, so the screws have basically chewed through the wood enough from being pulled on to cause it to be in danger of falling. Now, part of that reason is going to be something I address with task 2. So if you look at the door, you'll notice frame, beam, and plywood. Now, the way the door was designed is it basically goes below the opening of the coop by about 8 inches. I don't remember why I designed it like that. I think I just kind of fudged when I initially did all my measurements. Again, I'm not exactly the world's greatest carpenter here. But the problem I ran into, or I am running into, is underneath the door I put another just piece of lumber, and that allows the weight of the door to sit on it when the door is closed. What I didn't anticipate, however, is that instead of using the roosting bars that I've installed in there for the chickens, they like to roost on the door frame. And there's just a little bit of a gap between the frame and the plywood. And that's allowing pine chips and their dookie to get down into the frame, and when I open the door, that falls onto the lip, the support lip that I put there. And if we don't clean that off every time we close the door doesn't fully close. So that's been putting a little bit of extra pressure on the hinges itself. So what I have to do is I'm just going to install another 2x3, because I built it with 2x3s and not 2x4s. They were cheaper. So I'm just going to install another 2x3, just a hair above the frame itself, to where they can't kick pine shavings and everything in there. And then once I've done that, what I'm probably going to do, and I'll show you why I want to do it here in just a second, is I'm going to pull the door hinges off and install a new brace beam, and let me show you what I'm talking about. Alright, so right here what I did to mount the door to the coop was I installed a 2x3, and then I took some small 2x3 cutouts and screwed into the 2x3 that I already did and put the door on. The reason is because the door does sit out a little bit further than what this main 2x3 frame does, and so I couldn't get the hinges to truly fit. But I found that if I took another 2x3 and stacked it on there, I was able to get this mounted right. But I could see some cracking on this 2x3, not to mention you can kind of see some of these screws look like they're at a little bit of an angle. So I'm definitely kind of stripping the drilled holes there. So the smart thing to do at this point would be just to get another 2x3, stack it on top of this one, and reinstall the screws. Now, I don't know if that's going to be viable long term. I'm probably just going to have to build a new door. But I don't really have the money at the moment to do that. Building this thing set me back a little bit of money. So I'm gonna go get started. I'm gonna get started by just getting some measurements for the inside of the door, because my primary task is just to deal with that. And then if I'm not feeling too annoyed at the moment, I'll go ahead and pop the door off and do the repair work I gotta do. So let's get started. About 38 inches. So I'm gonna cut me a 38-inch piece of wood real quick. I'll burb. All right, I got my lumber cut. I'm definitely gonna have to replace the, repair the door hinge. It just more or less fell the hell off. So let's get the, I'll call it an insulator board, installed, and then we'll pop the door off, get some work going. Now the way I'm gonna go about this is I have these L brackets. Just gonna install them on both sides, screw them in. I mean, it's kind of stupid proof. Actually, I shouldn't say that. I have messed them up before. Whatever. Cue repair work. Just like that. Yeah, I know. Terrible angle. I don't care. Apparently somewhere in the dark recesses of my mind, I knew I'd have to make this repair. I just found an extra couple pair of hinges sitting on the top of the coop. So these flies are getting on my nerves. If anybody's got any tips for fly management in chicken coops, leave them in the comments below, because damn. I'm gonna start now. You guys can't see anything, can you? Alright, that should be a little better. Hopefully you can hear me. If not, I'll bump up the audio in post-processing. Old hinge braces are removed. I've got my 2x3 that's probably a couple inches shorter than it really needs to be. But I'm gonna have to make do. Yep. Alright, so what I'm doing is I have these 3-inch, you can't really see it, it happens. I have these 3-inch construction screws, self-drilling, yay. I'm gonna use these to install the hinges and also secure the plate to the frame. That way there's less chance of the weight actually yanking it off again. Otherwise I'll come out and use super glue. Alright, repair work's done. Should hold. I was looking at the spare hinges I got and they're not heavy duty enough for my taste, so I'm gonna have to make a Home Depot run, deal with that. I've also noticed that the door frame's rubbing pretty hard in one spot on the bottom, so that could potentially cause some detachment issues down the line with the door and the frame. So I'm probably gonna have to come out here with some high grit sandpaper, or maybe just shave off a little corner of it with my reciprocating saw. It should be fine. That creates openings, because if you look at the coupe, there's a few spots that I still gotta cover up on it, especially near the top where the roof is for winter. So that'll be a project for another day that I'll probably do off camera, because it's like a 2-second fix. But that's all I got for today, YouTube. If you didn't hate the video, hit like. If you disliked it, dislike it. Engage somehow. I'm gonna be turning this back into a business at some point. There they are. So yeah, catch you guys later.